What's going on, world? It's your boy Gemini Brown here, back with another episode of Nalo Kicking Knowledge. Today, we'll be talking about how to see psychic ability within your natal chart. So, let's get into it. Now, it's funny. I thought I did this video already, but I actually didn't. And it's crazy because I get so many emails about this. Like, hey, I really want you to check out my chart because I know I have some psychic ability. I just want to know what indicates it in the chart and how I can better channel this. So it's crazy because I don't even like the word psychic. I came up around the time Miss Cleo Camino, and she was out there charging people like $10 a minute and all of that. And then even every now and then you'll hear stories of certain people milking those in need of money for exchange of spiritual insight and things like that. So the first thing I want to say is that intuition, that's where a lot of this ability stems from. Intuition. And every single human being has the capacity to develop strong intuition, and we are all intuitive to some extent. The cool thing is, since we're all individuals, these abilities are going to manifest in different ways. I always almost think of it like X-Men. How the X-Men with the mutants, they had like all different types of powers and stuff like that. That's how we are as humans, So I even look at, like, there's no real way to clear cut say this person is a psychic, because I even say like an inventor, someone who invents things or finds a cure to something, to some extent they're a psychic, because their train of thought led them to this unknown discovery that no one else knew, right? So look at it in a very broad sense that we all have these types of gifts. They just manifest differently, okay? And hey, I still don't even know who the hell writes the Simpsons, but all the shit that's been going on for years with things that they predicted, hey, call it luck, or I don't know how you explain that, but like I said, gifts will work in different ways. But intuition, man, it's a feeling, it's a knowing, and the more you work at it, and you gain clarity within yourself, within balancing your chakras, knowing yourself on a deeper level, which is the basis of astrology, the more you're able to trust and understand that intuition or that ability that you have. But the first place that I will start is in saying that is with water signs and water houses. So that is Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, and houses 4, 8, and 12. And like I said, it's a feeling, and that's what the water signs are all about. They're feelings, right? So what happens when planets go into these signs or these houses, that expression gets filtered through feelings, okay? So and the abilities, like I said, will manifest in like different ways. So a fourth house person, their intuition or their knowing is always going to come within the realm of family or their children. You know that saying, it's nothing like a mother's intuition. Fourth house people really embody that. Fourth house people are the type of people, they may see you, right? You may be going through something and they come across you, and and everything's fine. It's a regular conversation, but they can read your body language, and they may say to you, "Are you okay? Like, what's going on with you? I sense that something's up," right? And yeah, like I said, it's always going to correspond like to the family and things like that. And then deeper even within that chart, like say it's like a fourth house moon, a Venus in the fourth house, a lot of different things, maybe even a Neptune in the fourth house. This can show a ancestral lineage of intuition, okay? So many fourth house people, in their spirit life, they work with a lot of ancestors, and that's what helps amplify and strengthen that connection to spirit and the other side, and things like that. So if you have 4th house placements, you know, pay attention to that. The little things that, you know, you pick up on regarding your, you know, your loved ones and those close to you. Okay. Then the 8th house, right? The 8th house, it's deep desire. And it's a really cool thing here, and a lot of Scorpios can vouch for this. You know, and the 8th house is the house of sex. So 8th house people, once they merge with you in that way, like in that sexual way, and regardless, we all take upon, you know, our partner's energy, you know, to a certain extent, but this is really embodied within 8th house people or Scorpio type people. They'll just know something is not right, you know, and part of it is because they've bonded with you at such a deep level that they are now, it's almost like they're a part of you. So their intuition is working like a radar. You know, you could be let's just give a perspective. Say you're with some Scorpio 8th house type person, and you know, you're doing your thing out there. They, no matter where they at, it could literally just come to them like, this person's doing something isn't right. You know, something's off, you know, or like I said, within conversating with you or conversing with you, they'll know like, you're lying to me. You know, they have the ability to really read you. And a lot of this stems, like I said, from making such a deep connection. So always pay attention to the planets as well, because they're going to show the, like, so if it's a sun here or a moon here, you're going to have a deeper connection with, you know, maybe the males that you're around, or females that you're around, that you bonded with at that level, things like that. Okay. But 8th house as well, since it's the house of death, we can also see mediums here. Okay. And people who just, they may be able to see spirits or communicate with spirits. Okay, so that's a little bit of like how the 8th house goes. Then the 12th house. 12th house is the deepest of the deep, right? It's the collective sea. So these are the people who can be like clairaudient, clairvoyant, you know, things of that nature. And 8th house people are, 12th house people are famous for dreams. Almost every person I know with their Venus in the 12th house dreams vividly, and these dreams are layered. And once you break them down, you know, and you find the meaning behind what that means, it normally always comes to pass. So I encourage all people to keep a dream journal. That is one way to strengthen that ability. Okay, even if like when you wake up in the morning and you don't remember your dream, if it comes to you like midday, take some time to write it down, because it allows you to see it from another perspective. And the next thing I've noticed along with that is kind of going with like your first instinct of what you think the dream means or how it makes you feel, you know. But the next thing with that is understanding your own subconscious and the symbols within the dream and what that means to you. All right, because like say there's like a bird, right, like an eagle, right? An eagle can mean one thing to me, represent one thing to me, and represent another thing to another person. So within my dream, that could symbolize a completely different thing, you know. So that's why a lot of times with your dreams, you should really sit with it and see how it makes you feel. But 12th house people have like a wide variety of, you know, gifts, and it's channeled collectively. These are the people who, whereas 4th house people, like, it's very tied to family and things like that, and 8th house people, you know, loved ones with the deep connection, sexual partners. 12th house is like everybody, you know. So and with it being, one thing about the 12th house, I think other 12th housers will vouch for this. People want to tell you their secrets. They want to. They or they feel comfortable, you know, doing so with you. And to some extent, I can say that about every 4, 8, and 12 person. But the 12th house, it's going to be more like secrets, where the 8th house, it may be your sexual secrets or your deepest desires. And then the 4th house person, you know, you'll feel comfortable telling them about your feelings. All right. So these are all how these gifts can work. And then particularly with all these houses, divination is involved. You can find, you know, astrologers, tarot card readers, energy workers, all with placements within this house, within these houses, okay, or these signs. But that's, like I said, that's the cool thing about how it manifests. So then, more so with the sign, let's say we take like a Scorpio or a Pisces, right, and place, they have their like moon there, and you place that like in the 11th house, and it's aspecting another, like or a Neptune or something like that. This can be an inventive kind of intuitiveness, right? A seeing, being ahead of one's time, understanding like, okay, I need to implement this. Like, I've never even really checked out the chart of like a person like Steve Jobs or Bill Gates, but you know, those people were ahead of their time to some extent, and I wouldn't be surprised if they had positions within these signs or houses. All right, then you got to consider the nodes, more particularly the South Node. And I've been observing this one for a while, really, and it's really the South Node that's going to strengthen the shit out of your intuition. The South Node represents spirituality, okay? And in mythology, it is the body with no head. And if you have no head, you don't see, you're feeling, right? So, and it also corresponds, you know, towards like liberation and things like that, being liberating from those past circumstances. So what I've seen is that when the South Node, more so not really conjunctions, but is in good aspect towards outer planets, like a Uranus, a Pluto, a Neptune, even a Jupiter, and a Mercury too. You know, I've seen it plays out lots of different ways. Like I said, there's no clear-cut blueprint, but it is that node, that particular node, it can denote, you know, a strong intuition or spiritual ability. And it could be tied to, you know, a past life where, you know, you devoted, you're like carrying over that intuition that you develop then, and it enables you to just have that natural trust within yourself, okay? So pay attention to the South Node. What I've noticed with like conjunctions is that it more so just binds you to repeating certain patterns regarding that planet that is involved. And then the North Node would kind of need to be strengthened because it is like a chameleon. It adjusts to whatever ruling planet it's in or whatever planet it's sitting with, right? So if you get like a North Node in Sagittarius, and that's like in the 8th house, 4th house, 12th house, that can signify, you know, some psychic ability and things of that nature, because the mission becomes to develop these, you know, these qualities. Or if it's sitting like with a Jupiter, crazy things can happen. But the North Node is very tricky, and in my studies I'm still observing it. From the things that I've seen, man, it's like you have to control the North Node and not let it control you, okay? And I would say both, for both nodes, you know, understanding, you know, their proper role within your life. But South Node for sure, also known as K2 for those of you who follow Vedic, really, really strong for intuition and psychic abilities. Then, like I said, Uranus is eccentricness. It is a higher genius. It's a lot of talent, Okay, so someone's talent or peculiar skill can be tied to one of these things. So building off what I said before, say Uranus ends up in one of these houses, or Uranus is in aspect to you know, one of these intuitive planets like the moon or Venus and things of that nature. And then the last thing I would say, and I made a video about this a few months ago, quintiles and biquintiles. Crazy aspect, crazy for just, you know, talent and creative energy and, you know, peculiar things. This is like a special ability to me, is like someone with a photographic memory, you know, or who can spell really well. You know, say you have a quintile towards Mercury or something like that, or your moon is in a Virgo or a Gemini, you have a quintile from that moon to Mercury. You know, this can manifest in a practical or logical, you know, understanding of words or languages. And like I said, the way my mind goes is that abilities are just like there's no limit to them. I look at everything like as a talent or a skill, you know, and just the way it can be utilized. So, you know, a person could channel this quintile through, you know, imagination with telling a story. You know, I don't know where the hell the person who got the idea for the Matrix, how she channeled that. I don't know how she channeled that, you know, but she was dialed in at a very deeper level. To me, that's a psychic ability. You know, they just got channeled in a different kind of way. All right, so this is my video on, you know, how to see psychic ability and, you know, some advice on how to strengthen you know, your intuition. But the more you progress along your journey and the more you gain clarity and trust, a lot of intuition is trusting in yourself and your instincts, you know, the easier everything becomes to flow with it. All right, so if you haven't subscribed to my channel, feel free to do so. If you know, got an interesting chart, you want me to read it, you know, email me, inquire about a reading. Until next time, peace.